Hey everybody, welcome back to another deep dive. It's funny because
This is gonna be good.
everyone's always looking for financial advice
Yeah,
and, tips and
absolutely.
all these YouTubers out there, right?
Left and right.
It's tough. How do you know
That's right. How do you know who to
who
trust?
to trust? Exactly.
Yeah,
So that's what we're talking about today.
that's it.
ETFs,
ETFs, exchange traded
which are
funds.
basically like baskets of investments.
Right. Yes, exactly. You can think of them as like a prepackaged bundle of stocks or bonds or even other assets.
Oh, and by the way, if you want more videos on how to achieve financial freedom,
Yes.
make sure to check out the end screen after the video's over.
So you said stocks, bonds, or other assets,
Yeah.
but like, what's the big deal with ETFs? Why are they so popular these days? It seems like everyone's talking about them.
Well, for one thing, they're really flexible. You can buy and sell them throughout the day, just like individual stocks. Oh, okay. So that's different from some other investments, right? Where you
Okay.
can't just like trade them whenever you want.
Exactly. And that flexibility is really appealing to a lot of investors.
I see.
And then there's this thing called liquidity, which basically means how easy it is to buy or sell an asset without really affecting its price.
Right.
And ETFs, they're traded on major exchanges, so they tend to have high liquidity.
Ah, okay. So it's kind of like, how easy is it to find a buyer or a seller when you're ready to make a move?
Precisely. You don't want to be stuck with an investment you can't get rid of when you need to.
Totally.
And another thing to keep in mind is the NAV, or net asset value.
NAV. Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. So the NAV is like the per share value of the underlying assets in the ETF. Think of it like if you were to take all the stocks or bonds in the ETF and sell them at that moment, that's basically what the NAV would be.
So the ETF's price should generally reflect the NAV, right?
Yeah, for the most part, the price of an ETF will stick pretty close to its NAV. But remember, the NAV is calculated at the end of the trading day. So throughout the day, the ETF's price can fluctuate a bit due to supply and demand, market forces.
So there's still opportunity for like day trading and stuff with ETFs.
Absolutely. Savvy investors can definitely take advantage of those intraday price movements. Sometimes they can even get ahead of the curve, anticipating where the NAV might be headed.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So ETFs are flexible, they're liquid, and their prices can fluctuate a little bit throughout the day. But let's get to the heart of it. Why should our viewers actually care about ETFs? Like, what are the real benefits of using them?
Right. So one of the biggest benefits of ETFs is diversification.
Diversification. We hear that word a lot in the investing world.
And for good reason. It's all about spreading your risk across a bunch of different assets. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you're spreading them out across, potentially hundreds or even thousands of stocks or bonds through an ETF.
I get that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But wouldn't investing in like a broad market ETF potentially limit your returns compared to, say, picking individual stocks or focusing on a specific sector?
That's a great point. And it's a question of risk versus reward, really.
Mm,
A more focused approach might give you the chance for bigger returns,
right.
but it also comes with a bigger risk.
Right.
Broad market ETFs provide more of a balanced approach.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot between risk and potential return.
Exactly. And let's not forget about
Oh,
dividends.
yeah, dividends. Those are like little bonus payments you can get just for owning certain ETFs, right?
That's right. Some companies that are held within an ETF pay out a portion of their profits to shareholders. And since you're technically a shareholder when you own ETF, you get a cut of those dividends.
It's like free money.
Kind of. But remember, high dividend yields aren't always a good thing. Sometimes they might indicate that a company is struggling and its stock price is falling.
Oh, so it's not always as simple as just chasing the highest dividend yield. Gotcha. And what about those fees everyone talks about? Expense ratios. What are those all about?
So expense ratios are like annual fees that the fund managers charge for running the ETF. It's a percentage of your investment, basically.
Okay, so lower expense ratios are generally better.
Yeah, usually. But sometimes a slightly higher expense ratio might be worth it for an ETF that has a proven track record or a unique investment strategy.
Gotcha. So it's not always about just finding the absolute lowest fee. Sometimes you get what you pay for. All right, let's talk about some real-world examples here. How do you actually make money with ETFs?
Okay, so imagine you buy a share of an ETF at $40, and over time, the ETF's value goes up to $50.
Okay.
If you sell at $50, you've made a $10 profit per share. That's price appreciation in action. Then there are those dividends we talked about. Dividend yield, it's often expressed as a percentage, and it tells you how much you can expect to earn in dividends compared to the ETF's price.
So it's like a way to measure your return on investment from dividends.
Exactly. But remember, like we talked about before, a high dividend yield doesn't always mean it's a great investment. It's important to do your research and look at the bigger picture.
Awesome. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Any final words of wisdom for our viewers before they dive headfirst into the world of ETFs?
Sure. First and foremost, do your research. Understand what you're investing in, what the risks are, and how it fits into your overall financial goals. Don't be afraid to start small and gradually build your portfolio as you gain more experience.
And remember, when it comes to bonds, we're going to sleep those. We're going straight for the growth potential of stock ETFs.
Yeah.
So now that you know the basics of ETFs, what strategies are you going to use to choose the right ones? That's something for you to think about. And don't forget to stick around to the end screen for more awesome videos to help you on your journey to financial freedom. See you in the next deep dive.
See ya.